Welcome to the podcast. I'm Paul.
And I'm Mark.
So we're into our, third week of bird season?
We are, yeah.
Just finished the third week, right?
Yeah, today's the 23rd of October.
And I looked at the calendar when we got back from the woods. Lacey puts a calendar in the kitchen, and she was crossing off all the days, and I look, and I'm like, not this weekend, but next weekend is deer season?
Yep, week and a half, Paul.
It's like, holy smokes.
Yeah. And it's starting late this year, of course. It's starting, I think
2nd.
November 2nd is Residence Day, Saturday.
So we were just talking. We had a good week of bird hunting.
Yeah, there seems to be...
What's the date today?
Today's October 23rd.
Yeah. Last week.
Yeah.
We went the beginning of the week.
Yeah.
We had one day where we saw, 23?
Half a day.
Because we were done by 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Hunting.
Yeah.
And it was, and then didn't hunt the rest of the day. We were kind of exploring and doing stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. We did a little firewood detail and
hiked into some old stomping grounds.
Yeah.
And we saw 8 birds in one group right there.
We did. Yeah.
It's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And I go back up with Lacey and the kids and same thing. And you don't see hardly a soul.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been one of the things that I've noticed, Paul, up there is how few people we saw. We were up there, you and I, on a moose week and stuff, and I expected to see a lot more people than we did.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, we were on the tail end of that moose week.
Yeah, and we didn't see very many people at all.
Campsites are empty, and
they are,
and not many people around.
Yeah.
Which was looking at the moose numbers. Have you looked?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was down a little bit from the first week.
It is.
In zone 3 anyway. I don't know the rest of the zones. I looked at the harvest dashboard.
147 in zone 3.
Yeah. Yeah, and they had 85 the first week in zone 3.
And that's total.
Total.
147.
And that...
I think that equates to, 100 permits per week.
Yeah, both weeks they gave 100
so we get 200
bull permits.
Permittees. Yeah. 147. That's right around 74%.
Mm-hmm. Which is good.
Yeah.
Which is a good, anytime you hunt a big game animal on basically public land. I know it's not public, but it's open to the public. And it's anytime you're 70% in 6 days to harvest, that's good hunting.
What did we calculate the first week at? It was like 85%, 84%. You said 84.
Yeah. So
that's not bad.
No, it's very good.
So, and then I was looking at the other zones. They give a lot more moose permits out in, I think zone 5 was 125 a week.
Mm-hmm.
Zone 1 and 4 were like a couple hundred.
Yeah. 225
in zone 1.
Yeah.
200 in zone 4. And those first 2 weeks are all bull only. Yeah, and I noticed when I went in through the woods, middle of the week, I asked at the gate what their numbers were. And they weren't, it was like 14 one day, 15 another.
Yeah.
I think the opening day was the highest and I forget, it was like 30 something, I think.
Yeah.
In around there. But nothing. Yeah. So one thing I do have to do is I've got to thank Brad Willie. So he sent us the Big Woods Bucks running targets. I meant to do it last time, but the targets came the day we were leaving. I was just walking out the door and Lacey said, "Hey, you got a package in the mail." And I was just running to pick you up to head up hunting.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's the director of wool products for Big Woods Bucks.
Okay, yeah.
And he's also got a YouTube channel, White Mountain Buck Trackers.
Yeah.
Kind of family oriented. Kind of him and his dad.
Yeah. So he would be from New Hampshire.
He's from New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Kind of that, he hunts in New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine. So I'm pumped to try the targets. They're pretty cool target. Kind of a life-size running deer with some patches to seal up your holes, which I got to shoot my 7400.
Yeah, I was thinking that today, Paul. I haven't sighted in my deer rifle, so we've got to get out and...
I've shot the pump, but I haven't done
the pump, of course, I've shot, but...
So I'll try out those targets with the 7400.
Yeah.
I hate to put holes in them because they're kind of nice targets, but I have to laugh. I look at they've got the kill zone on the deer, and this is kind of how a deer tracker thinks. The kill zone on the deer is basically the entire deer. All the way. And it's like, when you've got snow, your kill zone is pretty big.
Yeah.
If you can draw blood.
If you can get them leaking, you know, and
can get
on
it
snow.
done.
Yeah, but I've unfortunately run into, you know, having the snow disappear in the middle of the tracking a wounded deer, which was not good.
That happened last year.
Yeah.
That was just circumstantial.
Yeah, but we got
weird.
that one. There was one back in muzzle loading quite a few years ago that we had lots of snow and it started raining, and that's when I hit the deer and the snow disappeared. You get in a bunch of evergreens, a plantation, and there was no snow in there. No. So and raining hard.
Yeah.
So
the snow stays. It's a done deal.
Yeah.
You'll catch them, either finish it off or catch up to them when they're expired.
Yeah.
And on another thing, so bird hunting, see, my kids are 4, 7, and 10. Annabelle shot her first bird.
Yeah. Same age as Lydia when Lydia got her first bird at 7 years old. So
Same gun,
the 22.
22 with a peep sight.
Yeah.
And she is just, we've been shooting a little bit, and her target acquisition was a little bit shaky at first. Mm-hmm. She's got a very small frame. So for her to handle a shotgun.
Tiny girl.
Very small girl.
Yeah.
She makes up for it in attitude.
Yeah.
She
definitely has
big feelings.
She definitely,
Yeah. And so that 22 is perfect for her, and that's what she wanted to shoot at. So we were shooting some cans, and she was doing well.
Yeah.
Shooting the cans. So a partridge goes up the bank. And I had her tell the story, and I'll post something of her telling the story. But we were headed over to the trains. We're going to hike into the trains up along the Allagash.
Right.
And so I see a partridge going up the bank, and I pull over and grab her gun, and we get out, load it, and I could see it walking up the bank, and it stops. Not very far away, maybe 20 yards or so.
Yeah.
Basically just across the road and up on the bank. I'm like, do you see it? And she's like, yeah, I see it right there. So she pulls up. And it's kind of weird for me because she's left-handed. So I'm kind of watching her, and she's like, it's moving. And then she goes, oh, it stopped. And then and down goes the bird. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
I expected we'd have a few trial and errors.
Trial and error, yeah.
No.
A few misses to... Yeah.
She was pretty pumped, but she's the type that when she starts to get excited... She acts like it's no big deal.
Yeah.
And I think I pulled out the GoPro at that because we didn't get it on film.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited for the whole thing and just want to help her and focus on that. So I pull out a GoPro. And I'm like, I think I said something like, what do you think? She's like, I don't know. You tell them. It's like, jeez. Okay.
Did you get her... going up the bank?
The dog went up and got it.
Oh, okay.
Brings it out.
Yeah.
She picks it up, and we get some pictures.
I saw some pictures of her holding the bird and stuff. So
we went through the whole thing, though. She had to help me clean it.
Yeah.
Then we ate it that night.
Yeah.
And she was part of the whole
process.
Thing. Yep. So that was pretty. Yeah. That made the bird season right there.
Yeah.
So both her and Lydia's shot a few, and that was her. Now she wants to shoot every time.
Does she?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's my turn. It's my turn.
Yeah.
So she's pretty. Lydia had moments where she could take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Some hours she was eager to do it, and then other hours she was drawing and doing stuff like that. And I was like, no, I'm good.
And she wasn't interested in the 410, Paul, Lydia.
No, I think the sound still kind of...
intimidates her.
She shot the 20 gauge last year, no problem, so...
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what... Kids can be funny.
Yeah.
Changes with the wind.
Yeah.
So anyway, topic for today, you don't really know.
Well, yeah, Narda did... she passed something along to me about transitioning from summer to fall. Is that...
Yeah. So I was thinking... Autumn's kind of a transition period.
Boy, it sure is.
It's for a lot of things. And the landscape changes. It's kind of that, precursor to the incubation period of wintertime, which is long and arduous here.
Yeah.
Before, you get new growth and blossoms.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I was looking out across the landscape. We were up bird hunting. And even though it was warm, it has that look of deer season.
Right now, yeah, all the, like you were saying, all the trees are shedding their leaves. So everything right now looks just like it would in deer season, Paul, other than it may be white, hopefully, during deer season. But it's got a real, and it's just been really the last couple days, like the popples have, I know because I've swept off the deck twice here the last 2 days. And now pretty much the popples have shed their leaves and stuff. So
and this past week was quite warm. We had really nice days and warm nights too.
Yeah. It's up around 70 today.
Oh,
so it's mild.
So and we kind of do the whole, we transitioned from kind of our summertime routine to wintertime. Autumn's quick.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm closing up stuff, winterizing mowers, blower on the tractor.
I just did that, Paul, at the camp. I put the blower a couple days ago on the tractor, and transition's a big thing when you own a camp because you're pulling docks and wharfs and boats out of the water. You're getting them ready for winter, winterizing the engine and stuff, and there's and I'm bringing stuff down from the camp, paints, anything that'll freeze in the shed. You're bringing it down and storing stuff and. So
I was thinking I'm kind of doing a career transition.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of took a chance this fall to basically take the whole fall off.
Yeah.
I was at a point, I was 11 years working at that job, and you kind of get to a point where you're just comfortable. You're not really stimulating yourself, just kind of going through the motions.
Yeah.
And it was kind of I got 3 kids that they're going to transition from that dependent stage to independent stage. Kind of want to spend some time with them, quality time. Haven't got a lot of time off the past few years. I got parents that are kind of doing the opposite. They're going from that independent stage to dependent stage.
Well, I don't know about that.
You're a long ways from losing your independence.
I'd like to think so, but
I'm kind of in that in-between phase, where you want to enjoy your kids.
Yeah.
And same thing with your parents. You want to enjoy
And we do
them
enjoy it. We do enjoy
while you can.
Helping Mom.
And I just figured, it was a good opportunity for change. I was in a position to be able to take a little time off, and it's very atypical for me because I'm kind of what you'd classify as like a type A personality. I want everything planned out.
That's me.
I like a list of things every day. I got to be productive every day.
Yeah.
And check off your list.
Yeah.
And if you don't check off your list, you feel like you didn't succeed that day, if you missed something or you didn't.
Well, I don't like the unknown. I like the safe and knowing that Monday morning, this is what's going to happen.
But our last podcast was kind of a prelude to this. So we kind of talked a little bit about fear of failure and how that can kind of put you in a box from reaching your full potential.
Right.
And I think I've mentioned this before, but I had a professor years ago that had mentioned you should really probably change jobs every 5 to 10 years. Because you hit, the first, say, 5 years or so, there's a lot that you learn. There's a lot that you can gain and experience, and then it kind of plateaus.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get, like I said, start to get comfortable. It becomes easy. You kind of go through the motions every day. And I personally think that's kind of a dangerous spot to be in, because it doesn't push you to grow personally. Like, I'm big into personal growth, and it takes intentionality to do it. And it's very easy to just kind of sit back and, you kind of get to a spot where the going's easy. And like you said, the unknown, it's fearful. It can put fear in you because you
it is.
don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But you also don't know what great things can happen unless you step out and do stuff.
That's
like
true.
That. So yeah, it'd been 11 years, and I just figured this would be a good time to
push the reset button.
Hit the reset button, and it's actually been very freeing.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I've got a bare canvas.
Yeah.
To start with. It's very liberating, but a little bit scary at the same time. And Lacey had to laugh because she's like, I discussed it with her over the past year or so, year and a half. Mm-hmm. And the same thing with my employer. We talked about this several times, you know, that, hey, I'm probably getting to the end of, you know, my tenure here. We probably ought to consider, you know, who's going to step in.
Right.
And
well, that's good that you gave him, you know, forewarning and stuff.
And even when I was, you know, saying, hey, I'm going to be done on this day, gave him plenty of time.
Right.
So anyway, conveniently, Lacey's like, well, and she's the type that she's like, yeah, she's for it. Cause she's like, yeah, you got to push yourself into new areas to really grow. And so she's like, what's your last day going to be? I was like, September 20th. She's like, when's your dad's moose hunt? September 23rd. She's like,
the Friday before.
You didn't plan that out at all, did you?
Yeah, right. The Friday. Yeah. Yeah. And that, of course, that segued right into the entire hunting season.
Into bird season and then deer season.
Into deer season. So
I'm going to take full advantage of this fall hunting and spending time with family and doing stuff like that. Because I don't know what next fall is going to hold, what kind of time I'll have.
Right.
But that's okay. We'll enjoy the moment right now. And I guess next fall will have its own issues. Yeah. No sense in worrying about them right now.
No, you never know what's going to happen. And, you know, one of the things that we know is if most of the stuff we worry about never occurs. So there is no sense in worrying about getting time off next fall because you don't know what could happen.
Tomorrow may never come.
Tomorrow may never come. Who knows?
You know, and one thing with me, again, that type A personality is I've never had a sick day.
Right.
I've been there 11 years. Never had a sick day. Never missed a day of scheduled work.
Right.
Unless it was, you know, a planned vacation or something like that. And the closest I ever came to missing a day I remember one day I was throwing up.
Up in Ashland.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me about you closed a little early though.
I'm like, I'll be good. I can make it till 5:30.
Yeah.
And come 4:30, I was like, man, I can't be having people where the bathroom is there.
Yeah.
It's in an awkward spot. I'm like, I can't have people in here hearing me
yakking,
throwing up.
Yeah.
And I'm about 2 steps away from them.
Yeah.
So I did close an hour early, but basically put in a full day.
Yeah.
That was the closest I ever came. So, and the other issue too is, you know, if you look at, so I work in healthcare, and if you look at healthcare and really the world as a whole, my philosophy in healthcare and seems like the rest of healthcare is kind of diverging.
Yeah, you're right.
And I have a very hard time doing something every day that is incongruent. Like my mind doesn't believe in it.
Exactly.
But I'm making myself do it. Yeah. And there's been a lot of things the past few years that I just haven't agreed with.
Yeah.
And it hasn't sat well. And, you know, it's kind of like you said, hit a hard reset.
Yeah.
Kind of look at what my vision for healthcare is and should be. And as the world as a whole, the philosophy of just everything is kind of...
So a lot of people, it's funny because a lot of people would have no idea what you're talking about. I do. I understand 100% what you're saying because I follow a lot of different things in healthcare. So I know kind of the behind the scenes type of things that are going on. And like you say, their philosophy but there's also a lot of people out there that know exactly what you're saying and stuff. And
I mean, I'm not going to get into too many specifics.
Exactly. And I won't either, but I know exactly what you're saying. And
it's become
it's a different world in every aspect. And I don't know what healthcare is going to look like. And there's a lot of people I watch, Paul, that doctors and they, you know, they're seeing a collapse of the healthcare system. So
there's a lot of robotic parts to it.
Yeah.
Lack of critical thinking in providers.
Yeah.
And just kind of, it's become such a business.
Oh, yeah.
And not that you need to make money.
Right.
You know, businesses need to be profitable. But at what point, like, you just can't blatantly mislead people to pad your pockets.
Right.
Like, where's your conscience? Where's your, you know?
Yeah. It's in a bad way.
I see just so many people as a whole not getting healthier and not getting to the root of the problem. But just putting Band-Aid after Band-Aid after Band-Aid on things. And that costs money in the long term.
Mm.
And yeah.
Well, that's where the collapse of the healthcare system comes in, because it's going to be unsustainable when you look at where we are as a society in America, health-wise, and you're seeing overweight. 50% of our children are overweight, and about 30 are obese. And the adult obesity rate, Paul, you probably know that number. I know it's high. So we want to treat it with medication. We don't want to get to the root cause. And with our lifestyle, the obesity, and comes a lot of health problems.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
and there's a time and a place for meds.
Absolutely,
like,
there is.
That's my wheelhouse.
Yeah,
is meds. But I am not the less you can be on, the better off you can be.
Yeah. Mom is 90 and she's on nothing right now, my mom. And that's her choice.
She feels fantastic.
She feels fantastic. Yeah. They want to put her on medication.
It's very hard you get, at least when I was in school, you get driven down your throat. There was a huge push for what they call individualized patient care. Right. So you customize therapy to the patient. So on one hand, you're being barked at everything's got to be customized to the patient. Individualized patient care, and then you turn around and the same whatever group or organization is coming up with guidelines, you know, individualized patient care, then they throw out, well, everybody needs to get this, or everyone needs to. I'm like, well, hold on. What happened to individualized patient care? Now you're basically blanket treating everybody.
Right.
And that's not how it should be.
No.
Patients need to have buy-in on stuff. If someone doesn't believe in what it is that you want them to do, they're not going to do it. Like there's a whole patient-provider relationship that gets just thrown out the window now.
Yeah. Communication.
I could go on for hours. I can get way off of
And you know, like I say, and I'm not in the healthcare system, but I follow it a lot in different YouTube channels and stuff. And
well, I mean, Brittany, my sister, she's a physician.
Yeah, she's
in the middle of it and knows what's going on.
Yeah.
So there was kind of an incongruence there.
Yeah, that's a tough situation, Paul, that you're in, because, like you say, you're in that's how you make your living, but.
There's
philosophically, you have a hard time with the direction the whole system is headed. So
there's going to be some changes because there's enough people that have the same ideology. Like they see what's going on, and they're not drinking the Kool-Aid.
Right.
Like
there's still a lot.
They've had enough.
It's about like our political system, Paul. I think it's like 50-50 you know, and the problem is making the other 50% understand what's really going on, because they're like sheep being led to slaughter, you know. They do what they're told.
When there's money involved, especially.
It
can sway a lot of people.
Yeah.
to do things that maybe they'll just turn the other cheek, do what they're supposed to do, and they don't want to deal with the reality of it.
Yeah. Like you say, Paul, and there's a lot I could think of and could say, but I
don't want to get into it.
Probably be best if
a healthcare podcast on an outdoor podcast, but
it's good to attack the problem from the upstream.
Definitely.
Rather than just giving everybody a medication to
get to the root of the issue.
Get to the root of the problem, and
I'll just put this out there as the final straw that broke the camel's back for me was brought a little bit of burnout. It's because you deal with, at least in my line of work, where you're expected perfection all the time. Anything less than perfect
is dangerous.
Could kill somebody.
Right. Yeah.
And you're in an environment where there's you're constantly bombarded with, and this is on a daily basis. You got someone calling, wanting him to know if you have a certain med in stock and what it would cost. Doctor's office or nursing home calling for a recommendation on a certain type of therapy for a patient. Someone in the store is being waited on by an employee and the computer system is malfunctioning. And someone else is waiting out front for their baby's medication to be mixed. The baby's crying. And you hear your name about 10,000 times a day.
Yeah.
And
coming from every direction.
Everyone wants an answer.
Yeah.
And the whole time you're sitting there going, okay, I'm not supposed to kill anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that can kind of wear on you.
Yeah.
And then you just get to issues that you're like, this is starting to just get pointless. So a lot of the weight loss.
Yeah. I was thinking of that, Paul, and the Ozempics and,
it becomes, it's fine if someone wants to start something like that. I mean, that's their choice to do that. But it had become such a, every phone call was, do you have this in stock? Do you have that in stock? And it's like, holy smokes. I'm spending my days now trying to procure these meds. And I'm like,
Yeah. And the problem, and there again, we get into, what are most of your commercials on TV now?
Oh man,
and they're telling you,
and what's
talk
funny,
to your doctor if you have this.
Yeah.
Talk to your doctor about,
And shame on me, I don't watch TV.
Yeah, I don't either, but I know that these are the commercials. I have turned it on, and
I would start getting phone calls about things, and I'm like, man, why? How do people know about this? And I came home one day, and it was a Tremfya.
Yeah, your daughter.
My daughter, she was 6 at the time, 5.
5 or 6.
I walked through the door. She's like, Dad, do you have Tremfya at the store? And I was like, first of all, how do you know what that is? And how do you know how to say it correctly? And I said, well, what's Tremfya? And she goes, Tremfya makes your skin smooth. I'm like, holy son of a gun. She's accurate.
Yeah.
So I was asking Lacey, and they were watching Freevee or something like that. I don't know, some app, streaming app, and it had commercials. There was a lot of drug commercials.
There's mostly drug commercials.
And I'm out of touch with that realm of things because I don't watch TV.
So,
but not to get on too much of a tangent.
Yeah, we've gone down that road probably far enough. So,
but so I was ready for a little break, and I'm not leaving
You're not leaving the profession, no.
But
you get a lot invested in it.
I do. Yeah. But even if I never did it again, that's where one thing that I view about a lot of things, and it goes back to our last podcast where you can't fear failure. Even if you probably learn more from failing at something. Well, you do learn more from failing at something than being successful at it. And if I look back at my years in school, I can remember, because you feel like there's a lot riding when you invest in a program like that. And it's tough. And you're like, what if I can't get through it? Or what if I can't make it? What if I can't get licensed? You get those little voices in your head.
A lot of hoops you have to jump through to get to,
you're right.
to
and
the final
sometimes,
stage. And
boys, I'll tell you what, being at the wrong place at the right time can wreck your life.
yeah,
It just takes one stupid little mishap,
yeah,
one bad interaction with the wrong patient,
yeah,
and it can end it all.
yeah,
And you think about that. But I as I got further on in my education, I realized that, like, even if I didn't complete it, I'd gained so much from it that nothing was lost.
no,
For the biggest thing, and I'll tell you this, and I think a lot of people have a fear of this, is public speaking.
yeah,
I was terrified,
yeah,
petrified of public speaking. So much so that when I did my undergraduate, I had to take a speech class. I went and researched extensively to find a speech class online.
yeah,
And people are like, well, how the heck do you do speech online? Good question. I found one. It counted. I got credit for it.
yeah,
And I dodged speech
Yeah.
until I got into grad school.
yeah,
And if I was going to get through it, there was no way around it.
Yeah.
And they literally, you do so much public speaking,
yeah,
you eventually just don't care.
yeah,
Like, I can remember doing a rotation, and you could, say if there's a new med on the market or something like that, or an interesting patient, and someone, there was a patient I remember one had babesiosis, kind of a unique case. And they could be like, hey, yeah, there was an interesting patient on rounds this morning. In 15 minutes, can you give a presentation to the group or present that case to the group? And it could be a group of like med students, physicians, various therapists.
Mm-hmm.
You got 15 minutes to get your thoughts together,
come up with something.
get your crap together
Yeah,
to present that
Yeah.
case. And you end up doing it so much. It's like, it's basically therapy through like desensitization.
yeah. Well,
And it broke me of it. So even in that, I'm like, you know what? It broke my, and it's a maladaptive fear. What's there to fear
right,
with public speaking?
Right.
No one's going to hurt you,
right.
but you're so worried about
Yeah.
what other people think
Yeah.
that,
But getting back to what you said, Paul, just because, and you're absolutely right, you don't want to feel like you have to do the career that you had studied for, even though you spent a lot of time and money in that. You don't have to do that.
No,
you're capable of doing anything you want to do.
it builds so many skills.
Yeah.
Like that's just part of your
Right.
tool bag.
Right.
That's
but
in
you
your-
don't want to get into a place where, like you say, well, I studied to be a physician and now I've got to be a physician.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
No.
You don't. There's the world is full of possibilities,
Oh, there's,
and you never want to put yourself into that box that
There are
this is what I have to do
there
to
are
justify the time and money that I spent
Yeah.
on it.
there are going to be careers, and you talk to older people who are now retired. There are careers that did not exist
Yeah.
when they were younger.
Right.
And the same is going to go going forward. There's going to be various careers in the future
Yeah.
that we don't even know about.
Yeah.
And you can't predict that, but it's getting as many tools in your repertoire as you can
Yeah.
to improve your likelihood of success.
So, as an example, the founder of Home Depot,
Yep.
he was a pharmacist.
I believe he was.
I can't remember his name. I've seen his face and I've seen him on TV a number of times. But he was a pharmacist, and he is the founder of Home Depot, and Home Depot has nothing to do with pharmacy.
Well, but it kind of does. If he was a retail pharmacist,
Well, yeah, okay. You're saying
there's so much.
he's selling, but I mean, he's selling.
You're right.
You
As
have
far as the
drugs,
actual-
and now you're selling building material and home improvement.
If you look at independent pharmacies
Yeah.
that really succeed,
Yeah,
they've got superb patient-provider rapport.
Right.
Like they have people will seek them out because
Right.
of the relationship they have
Right.
with that person behind the counter. And I can think of a few right off the top of my head that run a very good business.
Yeah.
And it has to do with their relationship with their customers.
Yeah. Well, I think in anything in life, Paul, being able to communicate and connect with people is very, very important.
Oh yeah.
You don't even have to be in the retail, but
yeah, so I didn't mean to get off on that side note, but I was thinking of fall time. That was a period of transition.
Yeah.
And that kind of lines up, I guess, with my situation right now.
Right.
Is I'm kind of in this transition period. And it's good to enjoy the season that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
We're all in various seasons in our life. Sometimes those seasons can kind of stink.
Right.
But it's important to make the best of it. And deer season's, I guess, a good time for me to be in a transition period.
So I haven't mentioned, this is the first time you and I have even discussed this. I've never asked a thing about what your plans were or anything like that, or question your decision to do that. Have I?
No, yeah.
I haven't said one word.
Nope.
People have asked me. Well, I said I don't know.
It's so funny too.
He knows what he's going to do. I don't need to. I don't need to ask him. He's an adult, but I do have one question.
Yeah.
So, is this transition period going through deer season?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
This was kind of a reset point.
Because I'm not asking what you're going to
Nope.
do or where you're going to go, but so
Nope.
you're not going back to work in the month of November.
It was basically, I'm going to hit pause for 2 months, which is very hard for me to do.
Yeah.
Like it's something that I have to be very intentional about because like I said, I'm that very type A personality.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I feel the best I've felt in a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've also, so I guess just to help people understand, maybe they can relate a little bit to this if they're kind of the same way. All that kind of spills over into other areas of life too. So whether it's diet, exercise, I'm extremely regimented.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't break my diet. I don't break my workout routine.
Right.
And I've actually allowed myself the past couple of weeks to kind of and actually I feel fantastic.
Yeah.
It's been a good break. And it resets the mind.
Yeah.
And it allows you to kind of, like one thing for me, whenever I've done something, is you get this, I like to do novel stuff. Like I want to do something new and creative. Mm-hmm. It was like that in the pharmacy. We did a lot of pretty cool stuff that was uncommon in the practice of pharmacy. In the last 3 or 4 years, I'd kind of lost that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just don't feel like doing anything new or
Yeah.
you just kind of feel. And I think my colleague was the same way. Once you get kids and you got home life pulling at you, work pulling at you. Then we had the whole issue with the shutdown in the U.S.
Right.
And then finding people to work.
Yeah.
And you're working like bare bones. People don't want to come to work.
Right.
People that want to come want tons of money for just showing up.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's a different world than when I was a kid, Paul.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of a turning point for all of us.
Yeah.
And you kind of lose that drive to do novel stuff. So you step back, take a little break, and you start to get those, okay, yeah, what do I want to do next? What's my next venture? And it's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's really exciting. It's really freeing.
Yeah.
So not that this was just haphazardly thought out either. It wasn't like I just one day up and said, I'm done. It was planned for.
Yeah.
There was thought that went into it. And I like to view it as, and I try to explain this to as many people as possible. It's not that you're leaving a job or quitting a job. you're going to a new one.
Right.
You're going someplace new.
Right.
So it's a different mindset. But yeah, so it's going through the end of muzzleloader.
Is okay.
Definitely.
Well, yeah, that could, the problem with that, all that time you have to hunt, there's a good possibility that you may be successful, maybe even early in the season, and you'll be sitting around twiddling your thumbs.
I won't be sitting around twiddling my thumbs.
Well, you won't be deer hunting.
We got to get you a deer.
Yeah. Well,
Lacey,
I may get it earlier than you. Who knows, you know.
Lacey wants to.
Yeah.
I think Lacey wants to get her.
Yeah.
Get some action on it. Her dad's offered to that she could.
Yeah. That would be a good opportunity for even down the road with your kids there. We've had Keith on the podcast there. He's got a good setup and with youth day and stuff. And, you know, it would be a good opportunity for your kids. Maybe not this year, but in years to come.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Lydia, how she feels about it.
Right.
But
you got to let your kids make that call.
Yeah. But I don't push them. She has, I mean, look, we were out bird hunting. We've spent a lot of time bird hunting this fall. And I've had days where we've gone pretty serious.
Yeah.
And then there's days like we had a stretch of good weather and the kids just wanted to go back to the tent and play.
Hang out.
They want, and I don't mind. I'll let them do that all day long.
Mm-hmm.
At least actually I prepared for this podcast. I prepared for some other things and sat there and talked to Lacey and the kids. One thing we never hear when we're up there is I'm bored.
Yeah.
What do I do?
Yeah.
They go nonstop, just by themselves. It's pretty cool. Lydia built a teepee and then all of a sudden they're playing some drive-through game. She grabbed a table, set it up in the trees. And I was like, Lydia, what are you doing? She was kind of getting in the coolers and getting some stuff out. And she's like, I'm setting up a store.
Yeah.
So then the other two kids are coming through the drive-through and buying stuff.
Yeah.
They just creative.
Yeah, they use their imagination and stuff. And boy, they have imaginations.
They do.
They think things up. And
so there was one day we were out hunting in the morning and we'd been out for a couple hours and a couple times had just said, hey, can we go back to the campsite now? I want to play. Like, well, we'll go back. So we go back and we get lunch and stuff like that. And they were playing good. Didn't even go back out.
Yeah.
Rest of the afternoon. Just let them.
Yeah. Well, and there again, you spend a lot of time up there and that, you're not going to go hard at it every day.
No.
You know, you would if you had one day a week or whatever to hunt, you'd probably go hard at it. But having that the flexibility of being able to hunt a lot, you know, you can take a lot of time and do other things.
Yeah.
So
this will be a fun fall, interesting fall.
Yeah.
We'll see how it all works out.
Yeah, I didn't know whether like I say, I didn't know what if you were planning on carrying through deer season. I guess I assumed you were. You loved to deer hunt, so why wouldn't you? You know.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know what the next deer season is going to hold. I'm not worrying about it right now, but might be short on time.
Yeah, who knows?
But we'll see what
you cross that bridge when you come to it.
We may not even have a country left by that point. So.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Who knows what the future holds? Yeah,
we got an election coming up, and man, am I tired of freaking text messages.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. I guess I don't get those text messages and stuff.
It's exhausting.
So I got a flip phone and stuff.
Well,
so
you're out of the loop.
Yeah, in more ways than one. Yeah.
But so I was thinking, so I asked you to bring your album down from camp because there's some pictures in it that I don't have digitized yet. Yeah. There was one picture that I think I'll use as the thumbnail for this podcast because it's when I was 14. And you remember we snowmobiled in to that area?
Yeah.
We had 6 to 8 inches of snow.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was hard to get in. There's a lot miles of this road system.
Yeah,
that was hard
we
to
had
access.
To take the snowmobiles. Well, the reason we took snowmobiles is the bridge was out, so I think we had to go right through the brook
We did
right through the stream.
And we parked the snow sleds over on the opposite side of the brook.
Yeah.
So it was next to impossible to drive in every day in a vehicle. You could probably get down in through it, but it's not going to be fun doing that day in and day out.
No.
And so we had enough snow for snow sleds.
Yeah.
So we had this whole road system to ourselves. And because otherwise you'd have to walk.
Right.
And you can get miles and miles further on a snow sled to find a deer track or whatever.
Right. You'd be all day walking into where you wanted to deer hunt, for crying out loud, and then have to turn around and walk back out. So.
And we shot deer.
Yeah.
In there. And that was the day you shot a deer, last day of the week.
Yeah.
With your scratched eye.
Dale shot one the same day.
That was the week that I think there was one deer shot early in the week.
Yeah.
Then it just was kind of quiet the entire week. And then there was 4 shot, I think, that Saturday.
Yeah. Well, I know Dean got one. I think he was on the McNally Road.
He did. He was a different area. He got a beautiful doe.
Yeah, he did. Like 9.5 years old or something. It was an old doe.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was the first time I ever saw a big game animal harvested. And that leaves a lot of emotions.
Yeah.
You feel when you see that.
Yeah.
And that was also the last season that I was a deer hunter who had never shot a deer.
Right.
I shot a deer the following.
Yeah. You were 15.
Following year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was kind of a transition for me, transition time for me then.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't say that term too much. It's going to sound like I'm transitioning.
Yeah. Well,
we don't want
we're
that.
always in transition. So
I don't want to.
with something.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to quote unquote transition.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that'd be a good thumbnail for this.
That
was a fun
picture
hunt.
you're talking about. Is that the one with you sitting on the snowmobile? Is that?
No, there's one of both of us. I actually have Dale's deer. And you've got your deer. The tote sled's behind
on the tote
us.
sled, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's also one of me sitting beside Dale.
Yeah.
I think on his snow sled. He was watching that crossing.
Yeah. That's the one I was thinking of. I think he was sitting on a snow sled that, So.
I think, was that the week? I think he saw it. Did he see a lot of deer that week? Was that the week he
I can't remember, Paul.
Missed that big one. And then there was, I think, was there one with Zach? That it looked like it had a drop tine and he could see it standing down there and he was trying to get Zach to see the deer.
Yeah.
I think he saw quite a few nice bucks.
Yeah. On that crossing?
That year on that crossing.
Well, that crossing was a good crossing.
I'll have to look at the past journal entries, but I think that year, and he ended up harvesting a 6-pointer.
Yeah.
And that was, because I think 2 years later, he shot a 200+ pound buck right there.
I always remember Dale get on I think it was the CB that day, and he got a hold of some, I don't know where we were, how we got a hold of him, but he did, and he said, multiple kills, he said to report, multiple kills. He and I had both shot a deer, so he was letting him know that, we have multiple kills.
It's those hunts that are unique that you never forget. You know, loading a couple bucks up on a tote sled.
Yeah.
Hauling it out on the snowmobile.
Yeah.
And you don't get to do that stuff very often.
No.
That's pretty cool. So that was an interesting.
Yeah,
kind of get down some different things, but that's what's going on now. That's the way the fall's going to shape up.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know, Paul, that, I'll have a deer hunting partner for
pretty much
for most of the fall. That'll be good.
I better not get it done too early.
Well, that's what I was thinking. You could, like I say, you could be,
I won't cry if I do.
No.
It's a nice one.
No, maybe you'll hold off for something.
Yeah, hopefully we have some good days of snow.
Yeah.
I'd like to.
Yeah, there again, you can never tell about that. You never know what you're going to have.
No.
You go with what you got.
Yep. I guess the biggest thing is enjoy the season you're in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's coming quick, and
holy smokes.
It'll go by even quicker.
I know, and I said it last time, and I'm like, everyone can't wait for deer season, but part of me is just like, I don't want it to come.
Right.
Because bird season, it literally, I was telling Lacey, we were up in the woods, and I'm like, I feel like we just started bird hunting, and it's over. It's almost deer season.
Yeah.
And she says the same thing. Like, she's like, yeah, where did it go? Like, we got back from our last trip. She's looking at the calendar, and she's just crossing dates off.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about, Lacey and I were talking. The kids are getting at the point now, Lydia, where she may get to a point where she doesn't want it. She'll have other things vying for her time.
Right.
And she won't want to
spend it with you
be
guys.
as eager to spend it with us.
I can remember that very well.
So you get into your teens, adolescence, puberty.
With my
Things
sisters and
change.
stuff, and not, and that was quite a, I don't want to say a fight, but when they get to the age as teenagers, and we were dedicated, my parents were, to going to the camp every weekend from Friday night until Sunday night, and you're leaving teenage girls and boys at the house alone for the weekend, and that that can be a little dicey, and
So we wanted to seize on that opportunity.
Yeah.
And the time was right, so do it.
Yeah.
And
well, they'll never forget it. They've had a good fall.
Oh my God, they've had a blast.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've had a blast.
They've had a good fall. They've lived a life that is not the norm. It's the past month they've done stuff that most kids will never get a chance to do. And
no, it's been a real good opportunity, and that was kind of the goal.
Yeah.
And family's really the important thing, and you find a commonality in a lot of these outdoor YouTube channels, or the people that comment on them.
Yeah.
Really get a connection with the whole family. Thing. I think that's something that's people are starving for in society right now.
Yeah.
Is because there's definitely an attack on the
family unit. Oh, absolutely.
Big time.
There's no question about that. And we have strong feelings about that, Paul, you and I. I mean, we just, the family is the core of society and stuff.
And it seems like they want to destroy it.
Yeah.
And I can see why that would be on someone's agenda.
Yeah.
To do so.
Yeah.
Because it'll destroy society.
Yeah.
And I guess if you want power.
Yeah. We probably shouldn't go too far down that rabbit hole either, but
done a lot of that.
Yeah.
But anyway, the next month.
New beginnings.
Yeah. That's right, new beginnings.
Yeah.
The next month is going to be hopefully a blast. Make the best of it.
For sure.
Take advantage of every...
We will make it a blast.
Oh my God. Take advantage of every minute.
We will make it a blast for sure.
So, all right. When are we going bird hunting again?
You
going to go back up?
I'm open for it any time there.
Maybe we'll go Sunday or something. I think it's going to be a little cooler, but we'll test out the tent when it's cool out.
Yeah. It was cool when we went the first time, Paul. It was snowing up there.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was 70 degrees. No. It snowed 2 of the days we were there. I was there 3 days. 2 of the days we saw snow.
It didn't get out of the 30s one day.
Right. So it was cool.
And the high peaks were snow covered.
Yeah.
Which kind of gets you in the mood for deer hunting.
You
see that and you're like, boys, I'd like to track a buck up over that.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Call
that a show.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I guess until next time, get outside.
It's good for the soul.
See ya.